You're listening to the world of business and taxes with Mike Lodge, keeping you informed. So let's get started.
And welcome back to another podcast of the WBT. I'm glad that you're here. I have been thinking a lot lately because I've noticed that people are really disagreeable, okay? And I noticed that people are really willing to argue about anything without even thinking about what they're saying. And so I found this article. It was in Inc. magazine. It was written by Jason Selk, and it was called "It's Okay to Disagree, Just Don't Be Disagreeable." And that's one of the biggest mistakes happening in business right now, and also in politics, is that people do not know how to disagree agreeably. And so you have all of these really rude and nasty comments coming out all the time from people, and you're absolutely shocked at the meanness that comes out of people. So what he says in his article, he says one of the biggest mistakes, and I agree with this, happening in business right now, and I also have to include politics also, is that people do not know how to disagree agreeably. Being disagreeable in an agreeable manner promotes alternative and oftentimes improved ways of thinking. When differing opinions are present, the synergy of intelligence can be released, but only if people disagree agreeably. Now, I don't know if you've ever talked to people on Facebook, especially about politics or business or anything, but mostly about politics lately, it seems like. For the last 7 years on Facebook, I think it's all been about politics. And you would be amazed at what people call each other and what they are willing to argue but don't have an argument. Or they are willing to call you the worst names in the book. You are a bigot, you are a homophobe, you are, in the list of names just go on. Just because I don't agree with how they feel. In other words, if you don't agree with how I feel, you have a whole list of names that you're going to throw at me. And it happens every day. And I've also seen that happen in business too, where the emotions take over and not the thought process, okay? Not being common sense. I love the word common sense because in everything that we do, we have to use common sense. So think about it. When is the last time you said yourself or heard someone on your team say the words, not only is it acceptable to disagree on this team, but it's actually encouraged. Instead, most people are so concerned with being right that the possibility of a better way doesn't cross their minds. Every person on the planet has fallen prey to this at one point in time or another. I know I have, you have. Certainly some experience this more than others, but the point is that it is totally normal to confuse our options, or not our options, but our opinions with fact. Ben Franklin was one of the smartest and most influential people in American history. When a colleague brought to his attention that he was becoming impossible to be around because he knew so much that no one could tell him anything, Franklin was wise enough to realize his mentality would not only slow his learning, but also cause him to end up friendless. I tell you, sometimes I feel like I'm going to end up friendless on all these social medias because everyone, if you say one thing, somebody attacks you on it. But then again, sometimes you're a little bit arrogant and you fight back, maybe where you should not be fighting back. So, to Benjamin Franklin's delight, he found that his conversations became much more pleasant, and surprisingly, his friends and colleagues became much more open to his opinions. They were more willing to forgive his mistakes and happier to celebrate his successes. There's an old saying, Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? Not that I'm encouraging anybody to be wrong. That's not the point. The point is you are going to be wrong. And that's okay. It is much better to be open-minded to the idea that you would be wrong than to become married to any one opinion. Learn to use these phrases to open the lines of communication and increase the chances of disagreeing agreeably. In my opinion, here is what I believe. I certainly could be wrong on this, but this is what I think. The disagree agreeably challenge. Next time you find yourself disagreeing with someone's opinion, ask yourself these two questions. One, what is the most valuable piece of information in the opposing opinion? Number two, is there a way to combine the failure from opposing opinion with the value from my opinion? So open your mind, learning at every curve by reminding yourself that your opinions are just that, opinions. They're just opinions and not necessarily fact. Like Benjamin Franklin, you might surprise yourself by realizing just how much other people actually know. And you see that so many times when you are talking to people on social media, on discussions that you're just having with friends, or just listening on the radio and hearing all the different opinions and fighting back because you don't agree with their opinion. But we're not really taking the chance to listen to them and see if there's something worthwhile there that we might learn from. So I think he did a very good job in writing this. And the article is in Inc. magazine. Go and read it. It's called "It's Okay to Disagree, Just Don't Be Disagreeable." And I think that's a great philosophy as we're talking on Facebook, as we're talking on LinkedIn, as we're talking about on the phone, as we're talking about emails to colleagues. No matter what, it's okay to disagree. Just don't be disagreeable. Let's just all learn that and practice it from now on. Again, this is Michael Lodge. This podcast was brought to you by Lodge & Company, a business and tax advisory firm. And you can find out more about us by going to our website at www.lodge-co.com. And if you want to listen to all of our wonderful podcasts, I know you want to listen to more of my voice. Not really, I'm just joking there. But if you want to listen to more of my podcasts, just go to www.wbtpod.com, and all of my podcasts are there for you to listen to. And there's also articles that I have written on various subjects, on taxation and business, on leadership, politics. They're all there. And I hope that you come back and join me on another day, because I love speaking with you about taxes in business and politics. One of the things that I love to talk about is leadership, because I think that if we learn more about leadership, you and I will be even greater leaders. And no matter where we're at, in our church, in our school, in our everyday life, in our business. So again, let's repeat the phrase, and we're all going to do it together, okay? Promise me you'll do it together. It's okay to disagree, just don't be disagreeable. And I'll talk with you later, and join me again.
Thank you for listening. Join us again tomorrow.
Stay informed with the world of business and taxes with Mike Lodge.
Have a great day.